This is a DeWalt 20 volt max XR 1/2 inch impact wrench that also has an anvil with a detent for sockets. This model is a DCF 899 M1. The drill by itself would be the DCF 899. The M1 just means that it comes with a battery pack and a charger and a bag. So this is what makes it the M1. This is, as you can see on the packaging, made in the USA with global materials. I think that just means it's actually assembled in the United States, but all the materials are coming from China, more than likely. And for some reason, they really went out of their way to put all these decals and stickers. There's one right there on everything, just so you know that it's, I mean, it's great that it's made in the USA, but the materials need to be made in the United States as well. So anyways, just want to give an overview of this impact wrench. I've already pretty much said what it comes with. The only thing I didn't cover is this instruction manual. The instruction manual doesn't cover very much. Some basics, and I didn't say this already, but this is a brushless impact wrench. This drill by itself weighs 5.9 pounds. If you add the battery pack, it weighs 7.3 pounds. The 20 volt lithium ion 5 amp hour battery weighs 1.4 pounds. All right, so a few things about the impact wrench itself. I do like how they've added these very durable bumpers all over the drill or impact wrench. It helps when you put it down. Just I guess the majority of the time people are always going to put it down on its side. This does seem a little odd to stand up on end because it's got such a narrow base on it. And you'll notice that where the majority of the weight is in this is right here at the head of the impact wrench. All the weight is right there. So when you do set it down on end, it almost seems like it's going to fall over. If it's not flat, it's probably more than likely going to fall over. So with the variable speed trigger, as soon as you do touch this trigger and you're operating it, this LED light right here will turn on. No matter how much you touch that trigger, this LED light is going to turn on. For reference, from the time that you let go of the trigger, the LED will stay illuminated for 20 seconds, and I've checked this, and it's been pretty consistent that it stays on for 20 seconds after you release the trigger. There is a forward and reverse switch, and then there's also speed selector right here. You got 1, 2, and 3. So if you put the switch in 1, you get 400 RPM. You put it in 2, you get 1200 RPM, and 3, you get 1900 RPM. Also, if you put the speed selector in 1, you get 100 foot-pounds of torque. In 2, you get 300 foot-pounds of torque. And then in 3, you get 700 foot-pounds of torque. Here's just a general idea of what the drill sounds like and what you can see as far as the anvil with detent. So right now it's on 1. If you pull the trigger, that's what it looks like and what it sounds like. And then of course you get the LED that comes on every time you pull the trigger. Now on 2, it's now on 2. That's what you get. And then on 3, this is what you get. There's definitely a huge difference between 1 and 2, and then you can tell the difference between 2 and 3 as well. Obviously, 3 is maxed out. This battery pack that came in this DCF 899M1 kit is a DCB 205. That is the model number for this battery pack. Putting the battery pack on the impact wrench is not difficult at all. Just slide it on, lock it in place. To release the battery, push down, slide out. You do want to be very aware of these connectors. Make sure stuff is not getting in those slots. And then also on the bottom of the drill, make sure you pay attention to where you set this impact wrench down, because if you don't have a battery on it, you could damage these pins right here. As shown previously, push that down, it unlocks this piece that allows you to pull it off the impact wrench. And then you also have a battery checker button here. You can see this battery is fully charged, and more than likely when you do get this impact wrench, it's only going to have 1 bar. And like with everything else, the first thing you want to do is max charge it right after you get it. Let it charge for its until it's fully charged. This is the charger that came with the DCF 899M1. This is a DCB 115. That is the model number for this battery charger, and this is a 12 volt 20 volt max lithium ion battery charger. And you can see here you got the flashing red as the pack is charging, solid red the pack is charged, and then if you've got the red all the way across and then this left side is flashing, then there is a hot cold delay. Basically it just means that the battery is too hot, like you just got through using it a lot and then took the battery right off and tried to put it on the charger. That could be a hot delay. If your battery has been sitting outside in the cold and it gets really cold, there may be a delay before it'll start charging. I want to point this one issue out, and it's not that big of a deal, but I just happened to be at the store when somebody was returning one of these, and they were returning it because they said the battery pack would not charge. And I actually overheard him talking about it. He took it out of the box and was explaining to them that it would not charge. And as I suspected, because when I first got this, I kind of did the same thing, because I do have some other battery packs for other battery operated tools, and in some cases you just drop the battery on the charger and it starts charging. He put his battery on just like this and said, see, it's not charging. The employee was actually kind of unaware. I'll just use unaware. But this, you may get some lights for this battery, and in this case you would see it's solid red. That means the pack's charged, but that's not true because the battery pack is not on here properly. So it's just barely sitting on there. And again, I put it back on, there's no lights. I put it on another time, you'll get different lights, red and then an amber or yellow on this right side. So this battery pack has to be locked in. So after you put it on and then click it in place for it to charge. And as you can see, so this is a completely unrelated issue with the battery pack locking in, but this is just an issue that I've had since I've gotten it, where I put the battery pack on and I get no lights at all. And then if I take it off and put it back on, then I'll get a light. So in this case, I got a flashing red, which means the pack is charging. So it's inconsistent when putting the battery pack on. Sometimes you put it on, you get lights right away. Sometimes you get none. You got to take it back off and put it back on in order to get lights. Whether it's charging, fully charged, or there's a hot-cold delay. Not trying to get anyone to buy any specific impact sockets, but these happen to be DeWalt Impact sockets, and I would highly recommend buying whatever type or make that you want. I wouldn't use regular sockets because you will definitely wear out your sockets and then end up having to buy new sockets for the ones that you damaged, and then eventually having to go out and buy the impact type. So I would just buy these right from the get-go. That way you have them,